तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्दिः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ जयन्ती मङ्गलकाली भद्रकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवदात्री स्वाहा स्वादा नमोऽस्तुते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Sairam Lin, Sairam from Malaysia, Sairam Swami.
Sairam Sharma and Sairam from New Zealand, as Swami has sometimes called it. Thank you, Bhagavan, for allowing us to share a very, very sweet story about you and your love. Greetings to our listeners, wherever you may be. We are so happy to have you with us. Om Sai Ram. On my very first trip to India, Christmas 1989, I was very new to ashram procedure, but I was determined to do my best and follow the crowd as to proper behavior with Swami. And I happened to notice that people were taking thalis, sort of a shallow stainless steel dish, into darshan. In those days, we could take anything into darshan almost, even bags full of shopping and folding chairs. And they would offer these thalis filled with chocolates and sweets to Swami. And if they had a front row or close to, and they're holding out the thali, Swami would stop and sweep his hand in and scatter the sweets all over the devotees. And it was like a rain, a hail of sweets, and it made everyone so happy. And sometimes a sweet would land right in somebody's lap, or it would look like it was going to land in someone's lap and then land into the person next, and you would see the people share the sweets. I thought, this is delightful, and I am going to do this. I'm going to find out how to do this. Now, in those days, there weren't many shops inside the ashram. There were some little shops just outside in the back of the mandir, just to the right. They were just little stalls. One of them sold ice cream, another one sold pens and writing papers, and another one sold some cookingware, and another one sold some simple groceries and sweets. So I went to one of these stalls and I said to the gentleman, I want to offer sweets to Swami. What do I do? He said, very easy, madam. You buy this thali, and these are the kind of sweets and chocolates that Swami likes. That they should be wrapped nicely like this. So I bought as many sweets as my pocket would allow. I was determined to have a mountain of sweets inside my thali to attract Swami as if he needed attracting, but this is how my mind worked. I thought, now Swami will come to me because I have a thali full of sweets. Because even in those days, there were thousands of people in the courtyard, and we sat on what they called the arches, which were concrete pillars with an arch, which provided some little bit of shade. But actually, a lot of us had to sit in the forecourt in front of a little garden with Ganesh in it. Swami would come out of the mandir from his apartment, which was on the left-hand side, cross the veranda, and come over to the ladies' side first. So I had my thali all ready for morning darshan. Morning darshan, he did not come near. And my seat was too far back, but I didn't give up. Afternoon darshan, I drew third or fourth row, and I was sitting with Padma from New Zealand, and she was saying, I said, Padma, I'm not really close enough. She said, no, then Swami will take the sweets. You wait and see. And as Swami came along, suddenly all of the people sitting in front of me, they parted and made enough room for me to come forward on my knees and offer up my thali to Swami. He looked down at me with the sweetest look on his face. He was looking straight into my eyes. He wasn't looking at the sweets, but with one hand, he picked up handful after handful and scattered them all over. And as he was looking at me, I was sitting in literally a rain of chocolates and sweets, because I had put plenty in there, I can tell you. and I could feel the happiness all around me of people receiving the sweets. And I was too shy to say anything to him, but I just remember looking up into his eyes and just being so totally in love with this divine being who I had really only just come into contact with, but I couldn't take my eyes off of him. And then much later, when I got to know some devotees like Dr. John Hislop, and reading the books of Mr. Sandweiss, Dr. Sandweiss, one of them, and I can't remember whether it was Jack or Sam, told me that Swami once picked up a rock and gave it to them and told them to bite into it, and they did, and he had turned the rock into sugar, into rock candy. And then in another instance, Swami held out his hand, and I think it was Dr. Hislop, looked down into his hand, and he could see a swirling white mass in Swami's hand. It was sugar candy being spun in a circular motion, being brought out of the ether and into the physical universe, spinning around and around in Swami's hand and settling into a lump of like a toffee-like candy. And Swami said softly, "Isn't creation wonderful?" And he gave that candy to Dr. Hislop, who, of course, shared it around with others. And he said it was the sweetest, most delicious candy or sweet, however you like to say it, he ever had in his life. What blessed moments these were. When Swami could create any kind of sweet, he could create any kind of Indian sweet, laddu, misor pak, barfi, anything he could create with a wave of that wonderful hand, and it would sometimes be warm. Akura Baker told me how he made the most delicious sweet rice for her that was studded with raisins and little bits of fruit and nuts. Now, Swami even said, why is ice cream like love? Because it is cool and because it is sweet. And it's a well-known fact that at Christmas time, Swami would task Arthur Hillcoat from Australia into being Santa Claus, and Arthur would come into the Western canteens and all the canteens with a big sack of little tubs of Joy ice cream. This was an ice cream factory that was owned by Sai devotees, and they always most generously donated the ice cream for Christmas festivities, and Arthur made everyone happy going around with the sweets. I can tell you that having tasted Swami's nectar, which comes from his photographs, it is a taste like no other. It is a sweetness beyond anything I have tasted on earth. You can detect thousands of flowers in the flavor, but also, if you can think of the most delicious candy or sweet or lolly, as we call them here in New Zealand, it transcends that sweetness. You know you are having a divine sweet. Swami once said, "The love of God and the love of God, the love for God, are both eternally sweet and pure, whatever the method of your accepting or attaining them. Such love is holy and inspiring. Sugar is sweet when eaten during the day or during the night, for it is night or day for the person who eats, not for the sugar. Sugar behaves uniformly always, and so does love." Om Shri Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Tasmat karunya bhavena raksha raksha Saishwara. Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Saishwara Arpanamastu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.